Hey cats and kids, Captain Zorik here. Forgive the muffled voice through this new mask that I got here. Maybe you saw it the last time I was on stage. But in any event, I'm here at West 57th Street again. I just wanted to show you one or two things that I missed the last time I was here. And one of them is this nifty building here. Maybe it's too far away, but the front of it looks all ornate and stuff. That's the front being what faces 57th Street. And the side of it that faces 9th Avenue is plain except for around a couple of windows, which is really a bizarre, looks bizarre to me. Like someone cut the building in half, but then stuck a couple of things on the exposed side. And it's next to this giant tower that I believe is a fancy hotel nowadays. So it's just like, there used to be a row of buildings that high, that whole block, but now just that one sticking on the corner. Quite fascinating here. And so I just wanted to share that. And these buildings on the side here, again, with that plain frontage, it looks like two buildings that were like melded together to make one. And then this building, which is very secure in its mid-20th century architecture, just a definite piece of work for its time. Also that fascinating red church there. Okay, now, the reason I'm walking down 57th Street today, the mask slipped off, but there's no one within 25 yards of me. Nope, they're coming towards me, so I better. All right, anywho, is because I'm doing the weekly shopping for my mom, and she wanted some Cinzano and Amontillado. But I'm now trying to find a liquor store that's open at 10 o'clock in the morning on the Upper East Side during a coronavirus emergency. So I'm off to, but this is the Upper West Side after all. So there's like a half a dozen liquor stores within like 4 blocks of each other. So, here's a better look at that red church, except for that tree in the way. I have no idea what it is, and I can't see the sign from over here, but I'm on a mission. Anywho, so it should not be difficult. If I don't find any that open at 10, I bet you by the time I'm done looking, something will have opened. All right, we're coming up on the Watson, which, as I said the last time, used to be a Holiday Inn. And that's where a lot of low-cost, small-size comic conventions, nostalgia conventions, collectors' marketplaces have been over the years. Now, while I'm walking, I just want to share something with you. Oh, by the way, let's say our hellos. Jason, Glenda, Marcus, Anthony. How you doing there, everybody? Good to see you. I'm doing well. So just a thought about coronavirus numbers as they come out. I try to compare them to things with which I am familiar. So I'm not exactly sure what the coronavirus numbers are, but to give you a sense of what I compare it to. All right? Okay, no one's here. So, to compare it to, my elementary school had 182 people, staff and students, everybody included. So if there's 180 something, or a number about that, like say, admitted to the hospital or died or have the virus in this particular state or whatever, I can think of that as the number of people who went to the number of people who were in my elementary school on any given school day. Okay, people. Okay, now, there's 365 days in a year. Now, there's, I think that's what, like the number of people who've died in New Jersey every day, something like that. I forget exactly what that is, but New Jersey's been coming back with that number, or with a number close to it for the past couple of weeks, every day. All right, so, and that's the number of days in a year. So, when you hear a number related to the coronavirus, like the number of people admitted to hospitals or who died yesterday or what have you, that's near 365. You can think of it as the number of days in a year. All right? Now, what's another milepost? There were about 2,000 to 2,500 students at Stuyvesant High School when I went there, back in the old building. So whenever a number approaches between 2,000 and 2,500, I can think of that. Like if they say that 2,500 people have died, That's the entire student body of Stuyvesant High School in the old building. All right. Now, when you get up to the the next big milestone that I'm familiar with is 18,000. That's about the seating capacity of Madison Square Garden. So now there's a number that's about 16,000 related to New York State. I forget exactly what that is, but that's only a couple of thousand away from the entire seating capacity of Madison Square Garden. We're talking a sold-out house at a New York Knicks game. When you see that number 18,000, you can think that every seat in Madison Square Garden is a dead person, okay? Or whatever that number is. All right, next big number is about 55,000. 55,000 is the approximate seating capacity of Yankee Stadium, of the old Yankee Stadium, that is after the renovation. So that'd be between like 1975 and when did they fix it up again? 2000 something. So when there's a number that's in the 50 to 60,000 range, I think about that World Series game in 1977 in which Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs, and how many people were in Yankee Stadium that day. When I see a number around 55,000 in the related to something about the coronavirus. And then there's 75,000, or I think it was 78,000. That was the seating capacity in the Giants Stadium. I don't know what the new Giants Stadium, MetLife Stadium seating capacity is, but 75,000 was how many people the old Giants Stadium, the one from 1977, I want to say, up to 2000 whatever, a sold-out house there, and they were sold out every season, even during the lean years, even in the year in which someone flew an airplane with a banner that said 16 years of lousy football, we've had enough. Even in the season in which the season ticket holders burned their tickets, every seat in Giant Stadium was sold out to a season ticket holder, and that means about 75,000 people. So when you see a coronavirus number, the number of people in the hospital, number of people who died in a state, or a number of total cases in this country or that country or whatever, you can think that it's a sold-out New York Giants game in Giant Stadium. Or even, heck, Pele's last game in Giant Stadium. Pele, the great soccer player. All right, what's the next milestone there? 100,000. Well, 102,000 was the attendance at the Giants' first Super Bowl in the Rose Bowl. So when I see the number of 100,000, maybe 102,000, I think of how many people saw Phil Simms have the greatest, most efficient day of any quarterback in the history of the Super Bowl. And I think that the number of people that saw that game in that stadium is how many people are, whatever that number is related to. If it's the number of total cases, number of total deaths, you know, go find a number that's like 102,000 related to the coronavirus, and you can think that many people who saw that game are whatever that number is now. When you get up to 750,000 to 1 million, that was the estimated number of people to march in the protest march and attend the concert in Central Park at the June 12th, 1982 No Nukes rally. That's right, 750,000 to 1 million, depending upon who you talk to and at what part of the day you're talking about. Go just search engine June 12th, 1982 No Nukes rally. It was a significantly busy day, significant day. It was the high water mark for the No Nukes movement, really. And also happened to be the beginning of the in the beginning year of the Reagan administration. No, actually right in the middle of the Reagan administration, I should say. So ironic that the two opposite sides of the whole nuclear proliferation issue were doing, had their high marks right at about the same time. Because that's right when Reagan's policies were being enacted, both domestically and in defense and so forth. You remember all the Reagan-era tax cuts that led to an even bigger deficit than we had ever seen before? Yeah, that was about then. That was when that all kicked into gear. All right, so those are all the big numbers that I can just pull out of my ass to think about when I hear them. When people are saying this many people died, this many people got tested, this many people got recovered, I put it in those contexts so that I can really visualize how many people fall into that category. All right, so I've found what appears to be an open liquor store right here on 10th Avenue and, let's see, what is that? 54th Street. So I'm going to go in and buy some Amontillado and Cinzano for my mom. And let me just say quick hellos to anybody who's out there yet. Evan, Malcolm. Hey, Malcolm, how's it been? Georgeson in the house. Joe Higgins, Blaze, good to see you again. Steve, Jason. Yeah, yep, this is all about the morbid references here. Mark, Giada Magdalena, how are you? Jason, yay liquor. All right, so, and I just want to show this little building right here that's across the street from me. I've always dug buildings that had curved corners. It's got a nice space-age sort of modernism to it that I find appealing. Also, arched windows on the ground floor. Those actually have an early 20th century feeling to them. So it's an interesting combination of early 20th century and early 20th century retro antiquism. Somebody come up with the accurate word. And mid to late 20th century modern futurism. Although this building was probably built in the early 21st century, I'm just guessing. Okay, so, and just an obligatory shot of the emptiness of 10th Avenue on yet another day of the coronavirus shutdown. That's going uptown. You can't really see. Well, there you can. And that's going downtown. So yeah, you could run for about a half a dozen blocks and not hit a car except for that one. And it's only what, 10:30 on a Thursday morning? Normally this would be bustling. There's offices like just a block over there. And well, that's it. So ain't got nothing else to say at the moment. So be safe, clean up, cover up, and make sure your mask covers your nose, because you exhale through your nose, and these masks protect other people from you more than they protect you from other people. And if everybody's protected from everybody else, we're all good, and the numbers will all go down, and we'll be playing in smaller and smaller sports stadiums until we get down to the size of my elementary school, and then the size of a class, which was like ungainly if it was over 20. And then hopefully we'll be, as the president said in February, close to zero. But clean up, cover up, be physically separate but socially connected. Call your mom, contact somebody. If they're not on social media, find their phone number, write them a letter. The post office needs more business. Write them a letter, buy a stamp. Okay? So that's it. Captain Zorik coming at you. If you came in late, rewind.